Okay, time perception differs in Colombia in some ways from both Finland and the United States, but not completely. I think that there's this stereotype about Colombia that time doesn't matter and everything is late, but I think in reality that's not true. Time is really important when you're at the doctor's office. You're 7 minutes late and they shut down the system and they won't take you anymore until the next appointment. And that is kind of the same as in the States. The patient has to be on time, but the doctor doesn't have to be on time. But when it comes to social things, I think it's much more flexible here. In Finland, I remember from my grandparents' generation, like if you're invited to a dinner party, you can come, if the dinner party is at 6 o'clock, you can come at 5:59, between 5:59 and 6:05. 5:59 because maybe your watch is a little bit off. And 5 minutes, I guess, 5 minutes late, just, I don't know why, because you need some window of time. And if you're early, you do not go inside. You wait outside and you walk around the block until the time comes and then you go in. And I feel like that doesn't happen. One time I was invited to a party here and the party was supposed to start at 3 o'clock. So I thought, okay, I've learned. So at 3 o'clock I left my house and I got there at 4:45, at 3:45, almost 4 o'clock, and I was still the first person there. So in some respects, also when you read here about like tourist guides, they say, oh, buses will leave whenever, when they're full, like there's not a schedule. That might be true, but I feel like it leaves out the fact that it's not the last bus that leaves you and then you never get another bus. There's another one 10 minutes later and 10 minutes later and 10 minutes later. So there's definitely a system that works, and I think sometimes people look at it from the outside and don't understand that.
Time is money in Denmark. Time is something you have, something you can use, something you can win, something you can steal. And even though it's not a physical object, it has a great value. In Denmark, we want to do as many things possible in the shortest time possible. Everything has to be efficient all the time. We are running faster and faster, and we do not stop to think about the reasons or why we are running. What are we running for? And I've noticed that the people walk slowly in Colombia, at least here at the coast. In Denmark, my friends tell me that I walk really slowly, but it's nothing compared to the Colombian people. In Denmark, we have to walk fast so we can get to do more things. The way to get there doesn't count. And here in Colombia, I feel that many people are living the mañana, mañana mentality. What you didn't get to do today, you can do tomorrow, and that doesn't frustrate you. When it comes to appointments in general with friends, public institutions and so on, time matters a lot as well in my country. For example, it's disrespectful if you're not being punctual, because then you are wasting the other person's time. Here in Colombia, people are happy when you show up. It doesn't matter when you show up. In Colombia, it's my experience that the concept of being late does not exist. You show up or you don't show up, but you cannot be late. Furthermore, you don't waste people's time because they don't own the time. I like the idea of time way more as it is in Colombia compared to Denmark. And if I could, I would bring this concept back with me back home.
And why?
Because I feel more relaxed this way. I get bad conscience in Denmark, and I get stressed sometimes. For example, if I'm stuck in traffic and I cannot do nothing about it, I get frustrated, and and it doesn't. Well, it's stupid because you cannot do anything about it. But here it's like, oh yeah, I remember everyone else aren't punctual, So it doesn't matter that I get stuck in traffic, and they will be happy when I show up. But in Denmark you get yelled at almost, but it's just, yeah. I like the idea of that, of the fact that time is, yeah, it's an abstract thing. In Denmark it's not. It's you have to be careful with your time in Denmark. Here it's just the time just passes and you just enjoy. I think you enjoy it more.
Actually, I'm so sad to say that the Colombian people doesn't think or doesn't feel the time is really special thing. Because when we make some appointments and they always come 30 minutes later, even 1 hour later. So that was really annoyed me. But in Korea, that's really bad thing when I go out later. But in Colombia, it's a little bit different. How can I say, different culture or something like that. So yeah, that is difference between Korean and Colombia.